happy Friday. If you've followed my channel for a while, you know that I love to talk about obscure Disney movies because I just think they deserve so much more love than they're getting. It pains me so much to see that no one talks about them or they don't get the attention that they deserve because they're amazing. So today I'm gonna list 5 Disney movies that I think deserve a lot more recognition. As the 2 first ones are very similar, I'm gonna list them together. It's Fantasia and Fantasia 2000. Fantasia came out in 1940 and Fantasia 2000 came out in 1999. I keep mentioning these movies all the time because they're amazing pieces of art and they deserve so much love. The movies consist of segments that are made to fit to different classical pieces of music, so it's different animations and all this to tell the story. It's such a creative dream, and I think the movies are masterpieces, and they've actually introduced me to several pieces of classic music that I hadn't heard of before. It's really hard to choose my favorite segment from Fantasia because they're all so amazing in their own way. I really love A Sorcerer's Apprentice and Night on Bald Mountain, but my favorite is Rite of Spring by Igor Stravinsky because it tells the story of the Big Bang and the evolution of species, and it's just so fascinating and interesting to me. And it tells the story of the species and all this up to the dinosaurs, and then they get hit by meteors and all this, but I just love dinosaurs. So when there's a segment of dinosaurs, that's gonna be my favorite segment. That's just how it is. My favorite segment from Fantasia 2000 is hands down Rhapsody in Blue by, oh, I didn't write that down, George Gershwin. It's set in New York City, and it tells the story of 4 different people who all managed to, achieve their dreams of a better life, and it's lovely. I love it so much. It's great. It's great. The next obscure Disney movie is one that no one ever knows what I'm talking about if I talk about this movie. It's The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad from 1949. This movie has 2 segments, the first being The Wind of the Willows, which is a story about Mr. Toad. He has a problem where he will get all these manias, he'll become obsessive about something, which means he does all these adventurous things, but that has brought him to the brink of bankruptcy, and his friends are really trying to keep him on top of things. But then he buys a car in a super sketchy situation. It looks like he stole it because the car was already stolen, so he gets accused of stealing the car. He gets arrested, and yeah, I won't give away the whole story, but of course it's great. The second segment is The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, which is the story about Ichabod Crane, a very strange looking man who moves to Sleepy Hollow, New York. He's the village's new schoolmaster. This village is super creepy, by the way. It's haunted or something. Then he falls in love with Katrina Von Tassel, who's the pretty girl in town that everyone wants, and Brumbones, which is the city's cool bad guy, is also in love with her. Katrina uses Ichabod Crane to, get Brum to be jealous and stuff and try harder for her. And then the Tassel family has this huge Halloween party, which of course both of them go to try and win her over, but some creepy shit goes down at this party. I won't spoil it. Next, we have a super cute movie called Make My Music from 1946. This is another music style movie with segments, but unlike Fantasia, this has more in-depth stories, and it's more about telling a story than the music. I've used this movie a lot to fall asleep to because it's so relaxing. I don't know, just a lot of Disney movies, it's nice to fall asleep to. A few of the segments I like are Casey at the Bat, which is about Casey, a baseball player who was so cocky that he ended up losing just because of his cockiness, because he wanted to impress the ladies. Then we have Peter and the Wolf, where every character is portrayed by a instrument, which is such a cute, I love that. It's such a cute idea. Then we have Johnny Fedora and Alice Bluebonnet, which is about 2 hats that sit next to each other in a department store. One of them is bought, and then it's about the love story of how they find each other again. It's so cute. It's kind of like a Pixar story, one of those short stories. My favorite segment is All the Cats Join In, which is a jazzy musical piece by Benny Goodman. It's about all these teenagers getting ready and going to the malt shop to dance and eat ice cream and stuff. The drawing style is just lovely. I love the music. I love the vibe of that whole story. I love that segment. It's definitely my favorite. I've watched that so many times. It's on YouTube. You should go and check it out. Alright, so the last movie I'm gonna mention is The Great Mouse Detective from 1986. I don't know why this movie is so overlooked. It's great. I love it. This is the story of how Olivia Flaversham's dad gets abducted, and she goes to the Great Mouse Detective, Basil of Baker Street, for help. He only really agrees to help her because it turns out they're looking for the same guy, because he's, investigating and trying to find the same guy who adopted her dad, which is Radigan, which is a pretty cool villain. He is so evil, and he has a pretty cool villain song. I am so weak for villain songs. I'm also weak for Disney movies that are set in London, so love this movie. The characters are just so funny, and I love Basil's character. He's so strange, but he's so good at what he does. He's such a good detective, and he's also a good person when he finally has to admit it. So yeah, those were 5 movies that I think deserve more attention. Which Disney movie do you think deserves way more love than what it's getting right now? Please let me know, and if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and I shall see you next Friday. Keep up the good vibes. Bye!